Okay, so the first thing we're going to be working with today is algebraic expressions. The learning target is what are like terms. This is kind of a broad sense. We're really going to be focusing on identifying what a term is and how you name it. Okay, so that's the overarching goal today. I don't have a definition here, but this is something that we need to know. We need to know what a variable is. And a variable is a letter that represents any number. So sometimes you're going to have a problem that says a number and we don't know what that number is. So when we don't know what something is, we're going to name it a variable. A lot of times people use X, and if you use a T, make sure that you curl your T, because otherwise if you write this, it starts to look like a plus sign, which can get confusing. So if you're going to write a T, I would curl my T. I don't curl my T when I usually write, but when I write in math, I will curl my T, so I know it's not a plus sign. Okay, so we have a lot of different definitions, so I'm just going to highlight all of them right now. So we have a constant, a term, monomial, polynomial, and binomial. Okay, so let's first of all find out what a constant is. A constant is something that never changes, it stays constant, and that's just something with a number. So this has no variables, it's just a number. A term is an algebraic expression that includes a variable. So 5x is a term. 2x squared is a term. Negative 4x squared y is a term. So a term is just one thing that does not have a plus or minus with it. It just has a number and a variable, or two variables or three variables. It just has a number with a variable. If I ever see something that looks like this, x, y, z to the third, there is a number there, and you have to just remember that if you don't see a number, really what it is there's a 1 there, because it's 1 times that. So if you don't ever see a number, know that there's a 1 there. All right, the next thing we have is a monomial. A monomial is an expression with one algebraic term. I gave you all of these were monomials. They only had one term. A polynomial is when it has 2 or more terms. This is pretty general. This is a general term. We have more specific terms when we say binomial and trinomial. Now, one thing that's important to know is that a binomial is a polynomial and a trinomial is also a polynomial, but these are very specific. A binomial, you see that word bi, that prefix bi, it's like a bicycle, and it has 2 terms. And so a binomial would be something like x squared plus 5, 1, 2 things. 2x minus 8, 1, 2 things, okay? So whenever I'm splitting up something with a plus or a minus and I have 2 terms, that is a binomial. A trinomial, back to our things with wheels, a trinomial, oops, can't find it. A trinomial has 3. So x squared plus 5x plus 8. There's 1, 2, 3 things. X, y squared minus y to the third plus 4. 1, 2, 3. So trinomials have 3 things. Now remember, all of these that I wrote right here, these are also polynomials. But the better name is a binomial and trinomial. What I want you to do is I want you to go to your left side of notes and I want you to copy this table. And let me change my marker color. And so this title is name. And then we're going to leave this title blank. So what I want you to do is I want you to name what type of term this is based on these vocabulary words here. So go ahead and copy this table and try and name it. Once you think you have it, press play so you can check. So for number 1, welcome back. You should have said binomial. If you said polynomial, it is correct, but binomial is the best name. Number 2, 3x, that's just a monomial. And what makes it a monomial is it has this x. If it didn't have the x, it wouldn't be a monomial. It'd be something like number 3. And when you just have a number, that's a constant. Number 4, there's 1, 2, 3 terms, so that's a trinomial. And number 5, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so that is a polynomial. I don't have anything special, any special names for 4 terms, so we just say polynomial. And then the last one, 1, 2, that's a binomial. Okay, so those are the differences between monomial, binomial, polynomial, and trinomial. All right, let's look and see what degree is. Okay, the degree of something is the sum, which means adding, of the exponents in a term. So to find the degree of a polynomial, you find the degree of each monomial, or actually not monomial because it's a polynomial, each term, and you choose the highest one. So we'll have to come back and look at this. So let's just look at this first one. It's the sum of the exponents. Well, I'm going to highlight my exponent. This is my exponent. It's the exponents on variables. And so the only exponent I have there is 2. So this one is degree equals 2. Okay, well, if you look at this next one here, I don't have an exponent. So if you don't have an exponent, it means that there's a 1 on it. And so now I add up my exponents because that's what I'm looking for. And so my degree is 2, and I got that by doing 1 plus 1. I'm writing this note here so that if you go back, you look at it, you remember, which is helpful. Okay, so here's another monomial. Those are my exponents. And so to find the degree, I have to add them. And so 3 plus 2 is 5. So I added those. Okay, now finally we're at a polynomial. Well, what we have to do is we have to find the degree of each term. You see that? Each term. So the degree of this first one is 2. The degree of this one is also 2. And the degree of the last term is 3. Now, if you notice, it says choose the highest. That is my degree. It's the biggest number. You don't actually add those up. You find the biggest number. All right, what I want us to do now is go back to our table, and I want you to see if you can figure out the degree of each one. So let's add in the title of degree. And now see if you can find the degree of each one. When you think you have it, you can press pause and check your work, or press play and check your work. All right, so number 1, I'm going to change colors so we can see. I have a 1 here. This one has nothing. So my degrees are 1 and 0. So the actual degree is 1 because I'm going to choose the biggest one. This degree is just here because there's no other term. So my degree for this one is 1. For this one, I have no variable. There's no x. So that means my degree is 0. For number 4, I have a degree of 2, a degree of 1, and a degree of none. Those are my 3 degrees. And you choose the biggest one. And so my biggest degree is 2. Here's another polynomial. I have a 2, and then a 1, 1, and 1. And again, you pick your biggest degree, which is 2. And then the last one, I have a degree of 1 and a degree of 0. My biggest degree is 1. All right, the next thing we need to talk about is things called ascending and descending. We've talked about this when we talked about integers, but now we have to talk about it in terms. Ascending means you go up. And so I pick the smallest thing and go up with that. So write polynomials in increasing degree and alphabetical. So I need to find my smallest degree, which is this. That's my smallest degree because it's degree 5. And then let's see what degrees are. This is degree 2, degree 4, degree 1, degree 3, degree 2. So I go from my smallest degree up. So my next one should be 4z. Put a little check mark because I've done those. And then now I have 2. Now if you notice I have an x squared and an xz, you're going to go alphabetical. So I'm going to do this one first. And then negative xz. And now my degree 3 minus 3x cubed. And now my degree 4 plus 2z to the 4th. So you find the degrees and then you go from smallest degree to biggest degree. Okay, descending order is decreasing order. So same thing, I'm going to find my degrees. This is 0, 3, 1, 1, 2, and 2. This time I'm going from biggest to smallest. So my biggest one is degree 3, so I'm going to write that one first. Then I have 2 2's. So I have 2y squared and 3xy. Well, xy is alphabetical. It goes first. And then 2y squared. Now my degree 1, I have a 5x and a 7y. And again, it's alphabetical. So minus 5x plus 7y. And finally, my degree 0, which is minus 2. This is what you'll do the most. You will most often write them in descending order. It's very rare that you're going to write polynomials in ascending order. All right, so we have a couple examples we need you to try. So go ahead, let's cross off 9 and 12. Try 2 of each one by finding the degree and writing it in order. Once you think you have it, press play. So this is 2, 3, 0, and 1. So my biggest one is here. So negative 4x to the 3rd plus 3x squared minus x plus 5. Change colors so we can see and they don't blend. This has a degree 2, a degree 2, a degree 1, and a degree 1. We go alphabetical, and 2x squared is xx, which it comes before xy. So it's 2x squared plus 4xy minus 3x plus y. Now last 2 going ascending, so that's from big to small. So that's 1 degree, 0 degree. I'm sorry, I'm going ascending. I said that backwards. It's from going small to big. See, we never do that order. That's how I got that mixed up. So my smallest degree is 5. My next one is the 12x. And then the 3x squared. So you go from least degree to biggest degree. Last one, this is a 2, a 1, a 4, a 1, and a 0. So I start with my 0. I have 2 1s. It's alphabetical, so 3x is going to go first. I shouldn't have had that. Comma. 3x. And then the 5y. And then my 4x squared. And my negative x to the 4th. Okay? So there's a lot to learn in this one. Remember, degrees is when you add them up. Add up the exponents, and then you pick the biggest one. When you're writing in order, it goes in order of degree and alphabetical.